contextualized worldview of the Mindanao conflict approach to peacemaking. The prolonged conflict in our beloved island, Mindanao, have many versions and conflicting stories that are ugly, gory, brutal wars, described as one of the worst internal conflict in terms of duration and cost in our times. It even surpassed the terms of the 6 presidents of the Republic, from Ferdinand Marcos to Benigno Aquino III. Isn't that controversial and confusing? Is the Mindanao conflict unsolvable in our generations? As a peace advocate, I have a theory that a contextualized worldview of the conflict by the different local actors, residents, witnesses, and the victims from Mindanao is an approach to real understanding of our situation and an effort for peacemaking. This research presents how crucial are these respondents' view in examining the nature, the causes, and the status of the so-called Mindanao conflict. Some writers highlight the injustices against the Bangsamoro people, like the Cubita massacre in Corregidor that dates back in the 1960s. The dramatic imposition of martial law, which declared an all-out war in Palimbang, thereby killing over 3,000 Muslim men inside a mosque, without justice up to this day. The prolonged situation became complicated and have escalated beyond proportion and imagination, in addition to the historical rebellion of the Bangsamoro people over grievances on their claim that Mindanao is their homeland. However, the Lumad also claim that Mindanao is their ancestral domain. Both groups, Bangsamoro and Lumads, are a minority in number in our Mindanao land. What could be the nature of the Mindanao conflict? Is it sovereignty-based, referring to the assertion of the Bangsamoro for a separate independent state of their own, the Mindanao? Or is it terrorism-based, ritual, or ideology-based? This presentation gives me a great satisfaction as a peace advocate to share some of the interesting findings from this study that has involved at least a total of 235 respondents categorized into 2. The ethnic group, referring to the Christian, Muslim, and Lumad analysis, and the other one is the sectoral group, referring to the combatants, the academe, the religious leaders, the politicians, grassroots, women, youth, and NGO with the business groups around Sargent region. Their responses may provide better understanding and analysis of the incidents that have resulted to the decades of insurgency, war, and conflict tagged as the Mindanao conflict. Methodology. Adopting the descriptive, quantitative, and qualitative research designs and obtaining primary data through interview schedule and focus group discussions, the following findings are presented according to the sequence of the statement of the problem. 1. The socio-demographic characteristics of respondents. For purposes of reliability check, the respondents were found to be reliable source of information, considering their levels of maturity. Majority are 21 to 61 years old. Most of them are males, at least 60%. Married, 69%. College graduates, 55%. Government employees, 44%. They all have income, ranging from 5,000 to 35,000 per month. And most important of all, they are all residents of Mindanao for 41 to 51 years. They must know the story. The number 2 question: to what degree are the respondents' agreement or disagreement on their worldview of the nature, causes, and status of the Mindanao conflict? The combatants, the politicians, religious leaders, academe, women group, and the grassroots, as well as the NGO, share similar view or higher agreement that the nature of the conflict in Mindanao is sovereignty-based and widow-based. Sovereignty-based, especially because there is a clash of economic interest in land and other natural resources by the local and international societies. Jubaira, in her study, calls this the loss of the Moro ancestral land, or the legalized land grabbing, or illegal titling and ownership of the land. Whereas the youth sector, moreover, view only terrorism, as they say. Higher mean agreements have also been found as ideology-based, with the CPP, NPA, MILF, MNLF, ISIS, no multi yet at the time. They cited the rebellion of these groups are due to the discontent and grievances in underdeveloped communities. Thus, they express sympathy to the sentiments on opposition of the poor that trigger communist insurgency. Terrorism also obtained higher agreement from the religious group and the grassroots. These are the ordinary folks who cited narco-terrorism because of the reproduction and the sale of illegal drugs. The grassroots have also high mean agreement of RIDO, citing the lack of justice, security under a weak governance. And through the lens of the tribe people, they reveal high agreements that non-Muslim landowners refuse to give up the land owned by their clan's family for many generations. Moreover, lowest agreement is on jihad. We need to say that this is not about jihad because there is no struggle against the unbelievers of Islam. Sadly, my friends, the 4 indicators which I have presented to my respondents, sovereignty-based, terrorism, RIDO, and ideology-based, obtained agreement, but with varying degree. On the causes of conflict, one that is cited with the highest agreement is poor governance and corruption in the local level. It is the top notcher among the 17 indicators. And moreover, the lowest agreement is religious conflict. So all groups of respondents reveal this is not a religious conflict. And the status of conflict. What is the status of conflict? The overall mean of 3.69 reveals agreement that conflict remains to be unsolved. Followed up by President Duterte rejects amnesty, pardon, or talk to the Abu Sayyaf. And there is an increased possession of high-powered firearms by the terrorists. And that still persists. And the issues of ancestral domain are still under discussion. Another status of conflict. RIDO is still happening because there is a struggle for political, social, and economic power under the influence of political dynasty. And through the lens of tribe people, higher mean was found on conflict remain unsolved, and increased possession of high-powered firearms by terrorists And they also reveal that kidnap or ransom is still on the rise. Now, have all the efforts of the government effective in its conflict resolution strategies in addressing conflict? Higher mean was observed on two indicators as effective. One, they say, peace-building progress and ceasefire agreement. So, of course, peaceful, ceasefire. Number two, interfaith dialogue is needed for healing and reconciliation. While the push for the Bangsamoro Basic Law garnered lowest mean agreement. So they don't push for the BBL. And ladies and gentlemen, finally, in an open-ended questions for respondents on what recommendations they propose as the most effective or the most acceptable solution in addressing conflict, we get varying responses. These are the data. Muslims, Christians, and IPs. As you can see, the number one recommendation of the Muslims respondents are passage of the Bangsamoro Basic Law, followed by reconciliation and healing through interfaith dialogue. They also recommend change in the form of government to federalism as a solution to Mindanao conflict. They also recommend power sharing as a win-win solution between the government of the Republic of the Philippines and the GRP and the ARMM. And lastly, they said, peace talk is recommended with the local grassroots. What about the Christians? The Christians recommend reconciliation and healing through interfaith dialogue. This is the same with the Lumans. That is also their number one recommendation. Reconciliation and healing through interfaith dialogue. But the second recommendation of Christians is strengthen the rule of law. And they also suggest intermarriage to solve the problem. Or peace talk involving local grassroots. This is also recommended by the Muslims. And they also recommend bring justice to the victims. The Lumans have these recommendations. Number 2, expansion of poor peace, rightful beneficiaries, free access to education, strengthen the rule of law, and intermarriage. These are the recommendations of these 3 ethnic group respondents. Ladies and gentlemen, for every breakout of armed hostilities, thousands are caught in the crossfire, thousands displaced, higher poverty incidence, and high death rates. We all know nobody wins a war. Most people don't want it, but conflict is just around the corner. Anytime, anywhere, it can occur. Are we willing to live in this condition? Or shall we help advocate peace by coming out in the open to say, enough! Stop this bloody war and useless war. What is your stand? Whatever, you can count me in. Good day.